Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Bill MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyo. We are hoping to get Michael Bullock here. If he joins us, great. If he doesn't, then we'll probably see him tomorrow night. We're just going to be we're going to be real legit here, guys. Tonight we got AEW and NXT. However, right now we got major developments in the Stanley Cup Final as we got about 7 minutes left in the game, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are on the verge of repeating as Stanley Cup champions. It's not over yet. There's about 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. It's 1-0 Tampa. We're gonna keep you posted if we do have a possible chance of a crowning of a successful title defense, as Tampa will be winning their fourth Stanley Cup overall, but more importantly, back-to-back world titles. If they do it, we could have, and still, it's very possible. I stand corrected. It'll be their third cup, not fourth. Third cup for them. So we'll see. We're going to keep you posted. So there's about 6 minutes left in the game. Tampa up 1-0. But with that said, we will do our due diligence and what we have had, what we've done all along, wrestling, and we're going to go from there. So with that said, we started off with NXT and, of course, the Great American Bash. That was at, last night, and here's how it went down. So, first off, was the NXT World Tag Team titles on the line. MSK versus Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, the winners of the bout in 11 minutes and 53 seconds, and still the NXT Tag Team Champions, MSK. Great match. Great way to start the show. 3.5 stars for me. Fun, hard-hitting action. Be a man fight, to say the very least. And it was a contrast of styles. Of course, the ground and pound, the bruiser style, my kind of wrestling, the downright dirty dog style of Thatcher and Ciampa. And you got the high-flying theatrical of MSK. Great matches. Everything looked amazing in this fight. Anthony Flair, come on in. It's yours. 3.5 stars, and definitely one of the top fights of the evening.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, you're absolutely right. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for me. You could not have picked a better match to open this thing. You really couldn't have. I mean, you always want to hype the crowd, and there's no better way to hype the crowd than by doing a fast-paced yet physical matchup, and that's exactly what we got here. MSK got to show off their high-flying quickness ability. We saw plenty of hits from Ciampa and Thatcher, who used the power game, and that's what I addressed. I addressed that when we talked about this previously, that the champions were the quicker of the two teams, and the challengers were the stronger of the two teams, and it was a fun match, a great way to start it off, and you couldn't have asked for anything better to start this thing off. And it would have been a great way to start a takeover. It would have been a great way to start a traditional pay-per-view, and that's all there is to it. I mean, if the key to a successful show, folks, is always to find that match, that perfect opening match that will hype the crowd. That's the key, hyping the crowd. And that's exactly what they did here. So great matchup here. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for me. So with that being said, MF, set me up for the next match, and I'll start that sucker off.
All right, the fight was for the $1 million belt. It was LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. If Cameron Grimes lost this match, he had to become the butler of LA Knight. Well, unfortunately, Cameron Grimes will indeed become the butler of LA Knight. LA Knight successfully defends the title in 13 minutes and 14 seconds. Anthony Floyo, it is yours.
3 to 3 1/4 stars for this one. Outcome, I'm not surprised by the outcome. I mean, I just talked about a moment ago about how to start a pay-per-view and all that. Well, this is what you need to do in the business of professional wrestling to make things work. I have always gone on the record and said that there is always big money potential when you have a lovable underdog babyface challenger valiantly fighting and chasing a dominant heel champion. The best example of such was Daniel Bryan. Throughout the summer of 2013 and, for the SummerSlam 2013. And then, that thing went all the way up to WrestleMania 30 and we eventually got the payoff that we all wanted. I believe we're going to get that payoff here. I just don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, there is another takeover on the horizon. I'm hearing, I have heard rumors about it being maybe the night after SummerSlam. I mean, that's a rumor going around. We'll have to wait and see on that, but maybe they do it there, the old 30-day routine. And, but fine match. It wasn't, as exciting as the other match, but, it was a good match for what it was. A very solid match. There were some elements of Shakespearean drama in this, and I had no doubt about the outcome. I really didn't. I mean, I had a feeling LA Knight was going to win it, and there's always money of when you have a lovable underdog babyface challenger going after a dominant heel champion, and you just made this thing even more interesting. I mean, I got a feeling this is going to be a lot like Ted DiBiase and Virgil from 30 years ago. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. LA Knight is going to make Cameron Grimes' life a living hell for the next 30 days or however long this goes on. He is going to make that boy miserable, plain and simple. So, solid quality bout, good 3 to 3.25 stars. I felt the other match was just a smidgen better, but it was still very good, though. Definitely some elements of Shakespearean drama here. So not much more to say here. MF, I'm sure you agree with me when I say there's always money when you have a lovable underdog babyface challenger trying to unseat a dominant heel champion.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. And a person that I think a lot of people is trying to rally around, which is Cameron Grimes. They're trying to rally around him to really make him a big time player, to say the very least. And LA Knight, it seems like at the very beginning he was being underutilized, not really used correctly, and a lot of people kind of were like, "What the heck? What the heck is going on?" Now NXT has found a niche with them. Now they figured it out. Now they know what they're going to do. Now they put him in the right position. And that's the key thing more than anything else, is that they put him in the right position at the right moment, at the right time. And that's exactly what you did. This was about 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. An excellent matchup, to say the very least. And we are moving right along very quickly, as it's going to be Zoe Stark and Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell of the Way for the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, the winners of the bout, in 7 minutes and 58 seconds. And new Tag Team Champions. The women have done it. Zoe Stark and the Genius of the Sky, Io Shirai, are champions. I don't know if a lot of people really predicted that the Way was going to lose the belts like this, but this was a big, big shocker for me. Crowning of new champions, Zoe Stark wins her first title in NXT, and for Io Shirai, she now becomes an elite. She shall join an elite category in NXT. I believe she is the first ever to have now held the NXT Women's title and the NXT Women's Tag Team belts. I think unless Ember Moon has done it, but I don't think Ember ever won the women's title. So
Yes, she has.
Oh, she has. All right. So I do stand corrected. So she is the second to do it. But still, rarefied air for Io Shirai losing the belt not too long ago to Raquel Gonzalez. Took a sabbatical, took some time away from the ring, and you can say about a couple of weeks back in the company, and she's already a champion again. And for Zoe Stark, this lovable baby girl, Anthony Floyo, this is about 2.5 stars. I can't go any more higher than that because of the length of the match. But crowning of new champions, history was made. And Zoe Stark, her first NXT women's title is a tag team title. And the Genius of the Sky has ascended once again on top of a throne in NXT.
Yes, indeed. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for me. I'm going to make another point here. I mean, you add to a legacy of one, which is Io Shirai, and also in the process, MF, we also took a major step in the building of a future star in Zoe Stark. I mean, putting a title on her, that definitely will elevate her stock. We're under a minute to go. Oh.
Well, and let's just keep Floyo.
Yep. I'm just saying. But anyways, I mean, big moment for Zoe Stark. I mean, it's always exciting when you win your first title. I mean, here she is, just a few months on the scene, and she's got a title. Io Shirai, former women's champion, had a great run with it over 300 days, 10 months, and what a moment for her. So you add to her legacy and you build a new star in the process. By default, the worst fight of the night, but it was not necessarily anything bad. So, but definitely pressed for time. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. MF, you got some business to do.
Well, I want to see before we get there. I don't know, because I'm a little bit behind. So I'm just going to tell you, don't say anything, Floyo. We are at 25 seconds to go, and he's trying to bring it up the ice, and now it gets cleared away. Well, trying to get cleared away. There's a little check from behind, as this is a stonewall on the corner with 12 seconds to go. Now it gets pucked. It's loose. It's dumped deep down ice. 5 seconds to go. It's over. It's going to happen. The winners and still champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. For the second consecutive year, for the third time in its franchise history, the city of Tampa, first the Super Bowl, now the Stanley Cup.
Oh my, can you believe it? They've done it.
It's a mob scene. All the players on the corner of the side of the net where Andre Vasilevsky was, and the fans are going bonkers in Tampa. A full house. And the Lightning have won it. They are once again the Stanley Cup champions. John Cooper. The magic still continues. And for the first time since the Pittsburgh Penguins have done it, we got repeat champions.
And I believe we are on the verge of the next great dynasty in the NHL.
Oh, without a doubt. This is salary cap era, and Tampa has found a way to work its magic. There's going to be some debate about it, though, because of some players who didn't play the whole season, came back right in time for the postseason, which you were allowed to do. So, but Tampa has figured it out. They brought it home, and it's a gentleman's sweep, 5 games, and they have won the Stanley Cup. 2 years in a row. They're third in the franchise history. And in just a matter of minutes, the Holy Grail of hockey will make its appearance at the Amalie Arena. And Steven Stamkos, the captain, will get to hoist it once again. Valiant effort, and give a lot of kudos to the Montreal Canadiens for an incredible Stanley Cup run. First time since 1993 they were in it. Unfortunately, they just ran into a buzzsaw. Very unfortunate. We just lost Anthony. Oh, okay. Nope, we did. We got Anthony Fleo back. I think he was just transferring over. He was just transferring over to his. He was probably on the cell phone, transferring over to his computer, and now one of the greatest traditions in hockey is about to start right now. The handshake line. I don't know when it even started. I don't know when the handshake line dated back. It must have been a long, long time ago. But it's a great, great tradition in hockey as the players are coming together now, handshaking each other, showing the respect of what was an incredible and very good Stanley Cup final. As Shane Weber, the Weber bomb just could not uncoil in the Stanley Cup final. And now they're going one by one. This is always tough to see because you try to choreograph this perfectly for the cameras. So you want to get the star players there. Maybe you want to see the goaltenders come together right now. But we'll see if we can get that moment momentarily as Montreal is about to go down the line, and then they'll be heading off to the locker rooms, leaving Tampa with the moment and with like I said, just a matter of minutes. Gary Bettman will make his way out and present the Stanley Cup to now the still reigning and defending world champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right. So it looks like they're already starting with the setup for it. I just saw like a black tarp being laid across. And of course, they will put everything together in just a matter of moments. As players are still doing the handshake line. An incredible final. It was USA versus Canada. A little different this time around because of, obviously because of COVID. It changed a lot of the rules that they did. This time around, there was no East or West. There was 4 divisions, a North, a South, an East, and a West division. This was the South Division champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning, versus the North Division champions in the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal was presented with the Clarence Campbell Bowl as a finalist for the Stanley Cup. And then, of course, the Prince of Wales was presented to Tampa. There was no official proclamation, so they're not officially Eastern and Western Conference champions. They were just presented with the trophies to be signified as finalists for the Stanley Cup. Obviously, the Cup is definitely on the line, and Tampa walks away with the Cup. So we're going to break away just a moment. We're going to continue our recap of it, and in just a matter of minutes, we'll wait for us to present for the moment when they do present the Stanley Cup. So we'll wait. Main event was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, non-sanctioned match. Adam Cole wins the match in 20 minutes and 33 seconds. Anthony Florio, you lead off. as we are awaiting the arrival of the Stanley Cup.
And let's also not forget the Conn Smythe Trophy either.
Yeah, we'll have that announcement in just a matter of minutes as well.
Indeed. So, yeah, this was the fight of the night. There's no doubt about this. I got to give this about 4.25 to 4.5 stars. NXT gave Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly plenty of time to deliver, and the two did what they do best. The two kept a firm focus on their shared knee injuries. It helped that they have so much chemistry to make every signature move feel unique. This was better than their first match, which was too long to the point of near parody. This time around, the two told a more focused story with TV time remaining. While some spots still went over the top, it was easy to invest in the story. The result likely means that Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly will extend to a third match. While this is NXT standard, it seems a little unnecessary if WWE wanted to truly commit to O'Reilly as a rising star. But you know, these two are just so fun to watch, and you know, well, I forgot. I should have mentioned some thought this was actually better than their first match. I liked the first match a little better, but this was still another great matchup here. They stole the show, and that's no big surprise. And I had a feeling Adam Cole was going to even the score here. I really did. So, parity booking, 50-50 booking. So O'Reilly has one, Cole has one. You know a blow-off is coming, and that's probably going to come maybe at the next takeover. So I know I'm a little bit ahead of MF, but the Boo Birds are about to rain down in Emily Arena, if you know what I mean. So it's Conn Smythe time, MF. 4 to 4.25, 4.5 for the match.
Yeah, absolutely correct. It was 4.25, 4.5. This was an incredible matchup, no doubt about it. And it really lived up to the hype. It was what we expected it to be. It was a great matchup, great battle, and at the end of the day, I really feel like the right man won. Adam Cole deserved to win this one. He deserved the battle and the victory more than anything else. And without a doubt, it was one of those key moments that they needed. So it was a great battle. It was a great fight. It lived up to the hype. There's no doubt about it. And now we can legitimately say that we'll wait and see how this plays out. But at the end of the day, the right man won. We all knew that. Adam Cole deserved to win it. And yeah, so without a doubt, it was an incredible matchup. And just by saying this, and I was gonna say, and so we're gonna get into the overall review. As I just want to say that Andre Vasilevsky, the goaltender for the Tampa Bay Lightning, has been named the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It goes to a goalie, Anthony Florio. Is there any surprise that it goes to him?
No, not at all. I mean, you heard what Commissioner Bettman just said. The first goaltender since the great Ken Dryden of that Montreal dynasty in the 70s to start every single game of both runs. Just remarkable. And ladies and gentlemen, Excalibur is about to enter the building. And you know what I mean by that.
We all know what you mean by that. Excalibur is the holy grail of hockey. It started with 10 Guinness way back when. It was known as the Challenge Cup, the Challenger Cup, that was given out way back in the early 1900s. The NHL actually got a hold of it back in the 1900s, where dating back way back when, from the early generation, from Lord Stanley, as he was given this beautiful trophy, saw this beautiful trophy, and said that the trophy was going to be given out to the winner of a competition in hockey. The NHL was the team that got a hold of it, and since that day, the Stanley Cup has been given out except I believe one time because of a lockout, we lost the year where the cup was never handed out back then. Steven Stamkos is the captain. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners, the 2021 Stanley Cup World Champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And the age-old question always is, who gets it first after the captain? First team to win the cup at home since the 2015 Chicago Blackhawks. It's been a long time since we got to see the cup with home cooking.
Oh yeah, what a moment it is!
Victor Hedman gets it
what
first.
What a night it's been for all of us. I think this is one of the best Wednesday Night Mayhems we've had in a long time, man. I mean,
absolutely.
A historic night, a crowning of a new champion, or I should say a repeat champion. But like you said, it's because of the fact that day one, that this is their moment, to say the very least, as overall, even for, even though we're a wrestling show, we could even talk about what happened last night as it pertains to NXT. It was a great show last night. I could give this easily 8 to 8.5 out of 10. There wasn't really anything bad about this show last night. This was a historic night, great night for NXT. So Anthony Flayo, quick thought.
8 to 8.5. I definitely agree with that sentiment, MF. There was only one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, and that was the hit row thing. I mean, I think that went on a little too long, if I'm going to be honest with you. I was kind of hoping that somebody would have interrupted it, like maybe a Bronson Reed, or going for a rematch, or maybe Legado del Fantasma or something like that. But no, that went off without a hitch. It went a little too long for my liking, and I know some of the other reviewers have they feel my sentiment in that. So, but man, great show. It had all the feels of a takeover, and how cool is it that USA Network once in a rare while gives us these mini takeovers on their network, for free television, instead of having to go on to Peacock or for pay-per-view and the network and all that. But honestly, this was a show where there was not anything particularly bad, and a lot that was absolutely great. Like I said, the only major negative was the hit row segment, which would have been fine if it hadn't gone on for about twice as long as it needed to. On the flip side, you had a great opening match, a stellar main event, a big title change, a major return in Tegan Knox. Let's not forget Tegan Knox. She's back.
Tegan Knox is back.
Yep. That was the whole story behind that charging battery thing on a cell phone, and the fun Grimes versus Knight feud hitting its next stage. That makes this a big winner of a show for me, no doubt about that. 8 to 8.5 for this, and they definitely set the bar. But MF, let's keep this history thing going, as we're going to talk about something that we haven't seen on AEW Dynamite in 484 days.
It was AEW Dynamite called Road Rager, and guys, we were at the J.I. Knight Center in Miami, Florida. Yes, I did not say the Daily's Place in Jacksonville because we are back on the road with fans. It was a full house, and it was amazing. First fight of the night was QT Marshall versus Cody Rhodes in the strap match. Cody Rhodes wins the match in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, I'm going to say this. The match was all right. The match was fine. I enjoyed it. I think everything was great about it. It was about maybe 3 stars for me. I kind of wish the outcome, the match could have been a little more better. I think the ending looked very abrupt, which I kind of did not like. I'm sorry. I really thought that they could have done better with that, at least in that aspect, but I really got nothing more to say. So 3 stars, solid opener. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. 3 stars for me as well. First time AEW Dynamite was in front of a real crowd in a real arena since March 11th of 2020, which was right around when the pandemic started, and in Valley City, Utah. That's the last time we saw anything like what we saw tonight. I talked earlier about how to start a match. I really would not have gone in for this, but the only reason why it worked was because it's Cody. Hello, I mean, we all know everybody loves Cody, and the crowd in Miami was hot for Cody, and the American Nightmare fed off it. He was intense, aggressive, and the match benefited as a result. It was fun, energetic, and did not overstay its welcome. Keys to success when looking to get a show off to a hot start. Kudos to the EVP and QT Marshall for concocting a finish that was not like every other strap match ever, opting for a decisive finish that left no doubt as to who the winner was. What could have been a by-the-books gimmick match too much, like its predecessors, was instead a fresh take on an old staple of professional wrestling, with a great performance by Cody Rhodes and a red-hot fan base ready to absorb all things AEW as we kick off the Welcome Back tour. So, solid 3 stars. I definitely agree with that sentiment, MF. So, not much more to say. Let's move on to the next match.
And that's notwithstanding that there was a freak moment in the match. If you noticed,
the lights went out
during the match. The lights went out on them, and we're like, "Oh, what happened here?" No, it was I think somebody jumped the gun, or I don't know. We'll see. Next up, we had was Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz versus Wardlow and Dash Harwood and Cash Wheeler. And it was the heel team of FTR and Wardlow winning the match in roughly 10 minutes. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Another solid 3 stars. The effort was there and the crowd was energetic, but too much of the match took place during the commercial break. Santana and Ortiz did a great job of selling and building heat, and FTR's tag team mastery was on full display. It was the Jake Hager Wardlow showdown that really brought the fans to their feet. But by the time we finally got it, things were wrapping up with Harwood and Wheeler scoring the win for their team. The feud is clearly not over, with the very real likelihood that we are headed for several individual matches involving the competitors involved. So, not much more to say here. Another solid 3 stars for me. MF, your thoughts? Pinnacle gets one on the Inner Circle.
Yeah, Pinnacle gets one on the Inner Circle. That was solid. It was all right. It was a good match. I don't think it was anything to write home about, but it was solid for what it was worth. So I really got nothing more to say about that. So then after that, we did have a match as it was Andrade El Idolo versus Matt Sydal. Andrade El Idolo wins the match in 6 minutes. It was an all right match. It was solid for what it was worth. I don't think it was anything to write home about, but yeah. So um, at the end of it, the right man won. You got to give Andrade the moment, and he looked good in the ring. He looked good. It was an okay match. I could give this about two and a quarter for the effort. Again, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't like incredible, but it was still solid for what it was worth. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Of all the matches to get pressed for time, this one had to get pressed for time. I mean,
Yeah,
why couldn't this have gotten at least 10 to 15 minutes? This would have been amazing if it had gotten that amount of time. They would have put on a banger of a match, but it is what it is. I can only I'm going to give it 2.5 stars for the effort. Andrade stepping through the curtain dressed as Black Skull from DC Comics was a nice touch and helped add a big moment feel to the occasion. It went downhill from there, though. While El Idolo and Matt Sydal demonstrated some solid in-ring chemistry, a large portion of the bout was relegated to the commercial break, and the crowd didn't seem to be nearly as hot for him as they were the AEW stars. Hopefully that changes because we all know he is a wildly talented wrestler who has earned an opportunity to show it on a major stage. So AEW, don't blow it like those guys up north did because oh boy, they dropped the ball with him and then some.
oh
So
yeah,
yes they gave him a U.S. title run. That's all fine and dandy, but it should have been a lot more. We all agree on that. So, but that's all I can say. 2.5 stars for me. AEW, don't blow it. Ain't I right, MF?
yeah. That's true. That's true. No doubt about it. So then after that, Arn Anderson was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and it looked like everything was fine. All right. Well, the lights went out again. You're like, oh god damn it, AEW can't get the electricity bill working right this time around. What the hell? Oh no, it wasn't the electricity bill this time. When the lights come back on, Tommy Yen, Alistair Black, Black Mass to Arn Anderson, Black Mass to Cody Rhodes, and now they're actually calling him Malachi Black. That's his name in AEW, Malachi Black. Anthony Florio. Oh my God! Did you see this coming?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we've been hearing rumors over the last couple of weeks that there was a possibility that you know Malachi Black was gonna return to the WWE after his wife Zelina Vega, made her surprise return on SmackDown last Friday night, and we all thought because WWE took Zelina back, we all thought maybe that would have been the bargaining chip to bring him back, but oh no, oh no, oh. Um, Obviously he was unhappy there, and well, now AEW's got another diamond in the rough here. I mean, and speaking of Andrade, I mean, here's the guy who ended his title run. Let's not forget that his NXT title run, take over New Orleans a few years ago. But anyways, in AEW's return to the road, they delivered a hell of a surprise, debuting Black in a way that immediately makes him a top star in the company. Whereas Cody Rhodes had been stuck in a feud with the Factory that lacked a spark, he immediately finds himself in a feud with a star that has the wrestling world buzzing. And Rhodes' star power will help elevate Black to a level he was never really allowed to achieve on the main roster in his former place of employment. How or why WWE allowed Black out of his 90-day no-compete clause to immediately head over to AEW and create a buzz about the competitor's product that Vince McMahon and his would love to have is just mind-numbing and mind-boggling as well. I mean, the rumors have been going around. We have been reading a lot of dirt sheets over the last few weeks saying, there is a small chance Aleister Black could come back. I mean, that WWE on the verge of, saying, oh, I think we may have made a mistake. I think we should bring him back. Malachi Black in this case, he said, screw you guys. I'm going to the competition. So, just like I said with Andrade El Idolo, AEW, you got an opportunity to make this guy the star he should have been in the WWE. I mean, here's another guy who was in NXT, did some great things there, former NXT champion, just like Andrade was. But when he got to the WWE, dropped the ball doesn't begin to describe what they did with him. So, AEW's got another. I mean, they got Andrade. Now they got Malachi Black. But you know what? After what we saw tonight, I mean, wow. If this is his first feud, whoa. Malachi Black, Cody Rhodes. Welcome to AEW, Malachi Black. You're going up against the EVP of the whole thing. Whoa.
Yeah. So and one of the faces of AEW, no doubt about it. It's gonna be interesting. So next up we had was Orange Cassidy and the Alien Chris Statlander going up against the Blade and the Bunny in a mixed tag match. Statlander and Cassidy wins the match in 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Anthony, quick thoughts.
8:20, you said?
8:25.
8:25. Fine. Solid match here. Probably would give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. I mean, not your typical mixed tag. I mean, obviously, if AEW trying to really differ themselves from WWE, because traditionally, mixed tag rules means men against men, women against women only. They can't intertwine. Well, AEW's like, that's not how we do things here. We're not afraid. We're not afraid to ball up here. And we saw instances. We saw Orange Cassidy and then the Bunny. They had some moments, and I think even Chris Statlander and the Blade even had some moments. So, not your typical mixed tag, but it was a solid quality TV quality bout here. So 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star, a nice way to cool the crowd down a bit before we got into the epic main event. So not much more to say. I mean, MF, not your typical mixed tag. I mean, we don't see that in WWE, but here they do intertwine.
Yeah, they do. It was fine for what it was worth. I don't think there was anything else that was going on. So yeah, interesting to say the very least. And then after that, so Tony Schiavone was in the crowd, and now you're hitting my area. This is my turf. American Top Team leader Dan Lambert with the UFC BMF champion Jorge Masvidal, Gamebred, and on top of that, the greatest women's fighter in the world right now, the bantamweight and the two division champion at 125, at 135 and 145, the Lioness, Amanda Nunes. And Dan Lambert starts talking a whole bunch of crap about AEW, talking about how the product sucks, everything else. I know Derek Ferrera was flipping the hell out. He was probably throwing something at his TV saying, you are out of your freaking mind, saying that AEW sucks and all this stuff. So, yeah, well, let's just say somebody came over and shut Dan Lambert up. The Murder Hawk Monster himself, Lance Archer, came out, and boy, was he mad. He beat up Dan Lambert, and that was it. Now, here's the thing. Dan Lambert has a crew that's called American Top Team in Major League Wrestling, MLW. I know for a fact I know some of the guys on American Top Team. And he even mentioned a few of them. Dustin Poitier, who is, yes, he is. He's fighting Conor McGregor next week. And we're going to preview that
this Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get, I think because of the significance of this, I think we should add that to our docket tomorrow night for Strictly Sports.
We will add it, and I will talk about it. We got that. He talked about Game Bread. He talked about Jorge Masvidal. He talked about Amanda Nunes. But there's also another member of American Top Team. And one person who talked about it is like, wait a minute. Could this be a setup for King Mo to come to AEW? It's possible. But it's not only that. I mean, there's also another guy in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who's actually a heavyweight fighter. And the reason why I'm talking about American Top Team, because, if AEW's thinking of doing what I think they're doing, now, you could go with that. But there's also Andre Arlovsky. Yeah, you can go with that. Or maybe, there's Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Bobby Lashley was a member of American Top Team, but remember, he's in WWE. Or what about Chicano, Junior Dos Santos? Do you try to bring him into the mix? Now, there was talk about maybe Cain Velasquez, but Cain's not a member of American Top Team, not that I know of. So it can't be him. There was talk about maybe Brock Lesnar. Wait a minute. Brock Lesnar's not going to go to, unless the money's right, maybe Brock goes to AEW? I think that's a lot of wishful thinking, as I would say. But I'll say this. If you bring one of these American Top guys to AEW and to pick a fight with the one and only, to pick a fight with Lance Archer, oh boy, that could be trouble. We'll see. Main event of the show, AEW Tag Team titles on the line, in a street fight, as it was Penta El Zero Miedo and Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks successfully defends the title in 14-10. Solid main event, fight of the night. I just don't like the overbooked finish. That's the biggest nitpick I got about the fight is the overbooked finish. I get it's a street fight. I get anything goes. But I'm sick and tired of the overbooked finishes when it comes to the end of Dynamite. And especially in these type of situations. It gets repetitive. I'm getting tired of it. It's a 3.5-star fight. This should have been maybe 4. Anthony, it's yours.
Agreed. Would you look at that? The Young Bucks got heel heat over baby faces at the end of the show. Again. In that regard, Dynamite is starting to feel like friggin' Groundhog Day, with the heels beating down the opposition seemingly every week. While the end game is inevitably for a super mega babyface team to knock them off the proverbial mountaintop and the crowd to go wild when it happens, Tony Khan and anyone else with creative input have to be mighty careful about towing the line between generating heat and beating a booking method into the ground. The Young Bucks have been extraordinary in their role, and they are on a red-hot streak from an in-ring perspective. They have the potential to genuinely put over another team and make stars of them in grand fashion. It would be a shame for the good heel heat they have acquired to be wasted because AEW overdid the elite run-ins and underhanded victories. This was the fight of the night. It would have been 4. but we had to penalize it because of the clunky finish. But still, this was a 3.5, maybe 3 3/4 at best for this. This was definitely the fight of the night. I felt that this got pressed for time. I felt that Dan Lambert thing was a waste of time. Never liked the guy. You know all those rants I used to go on MF back in the day, when he was running around Impact Wrestling doing the same damn thing. And, so, yeah, you wasted time on that. I mean, if you had not even done that segment and taken that time and added it to this match, it would have been even better. But, it is what it is. But 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. It was the fight of the night, no doubt about it. But yes, MF, you're right. The same fit. I mean, every single week, we have to end Dynamite with the damn Elite on top. What a bad way to end what was a great night. No doubt about it. So there isn't much more to say. MF, we got a lot of catching up to do with Bullock here, so maybe we should do a quick overall review of Dynamite and then catch Bullock up.
All right, yeah, So Anthony, you lead off on the recap of Dynamite, so go ahead.
Fair enough. I think that AEW, or I should say NXT, was a little better, even though this was still a very good show. I'm going to give this about a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, the crowd was great. I mean, the only thing that really sucked was that beyond pointless and unnecessary Dan Lambert thing. But other than that, I mean, AEW is going to be pulling out all the stops. They're going to be loading up these shows for the next few weeks. And it was a promo-heavy show, building towards things in the future. The matches weren't anything spectacular, save for the main event. So if you're a wrestling-heavy guy like we all are, tonight may have seemed a little underwhelming. The good news is nothing was actively bad. Solid show with a lot going for it. Solid in-ring debut, a surprise debut, along with a great main event. And still a great episode with plenty to enjoy. Great to have the fans back in a regular arena outside of Daly's Place, although they're going back to Daly's Place at the start of August, on August 4. So that's all there is to say on this. 7.5 to 8 for me. So MF, quick thought, and then we'll catch Bullock up.
Yeah, 7.5 for me. I thought it was a solid show. Like you said, I there was just a lot of bad, better than anything else. So I don't think there's really nothing more to add. So Michael Bullock, welcome to the show. Welcome to the party. We're going to go rapid fire on you, Bullock. So give me your quick thoughts on all this. We're going to start with NXT. MSK knocking off Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa in 11 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah, I thought this was a solid match here. Definitely, I'll give this about 3.5 stars. I mean, this was definitely a great match. I mean, MSK certainly proved why they're worthy of those titles. So let's move on, Fletch.
All right. After that, we had LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million Championship. Cameron Grimes wins the match in 13 minutes and 14 seconds, which now gives them the opportunity, as unfortunately Cameron Grimes will now have to become the butler of LA Knight.
Yeah, you mean LA Knight won the match?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so, and what was the time?
13:14.
Yeah, I mean, this was I'll give this about another 3.5 stars for the effort here, but obviously they want to make LA Knight look like a typical cocky heel character, and that's what they're making him out to be. And Cameron Grimes, like you said, now he's going to have to be the butler, so nothing else to say. Onward, Fletch.
All right, The Way versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark for the tag team titles. And it was Zoe Stark and Io Shirai winning the tag team titles in about 7 minutes and 58 seconds. So your thoughts on that? 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. I mean,
outcome was a little surprising. I mean, I didn't think they were going to put the titles on Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, but yeah, they did, and with a little help from the returning Tegan Knox. And all I can say is, it's good to see her back. When we heard that she suffered another torn ACL, I mean, we thought her career was over, but she's back, and all I can say is I'm very happy for her. So nothing else to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, main event, as it was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, non-sanctioned. Adam Cole wins the match in 20 minutes and 33 seconds.
This was definitely the fight of the night. 4.5. I mean, this was definitely a great match here. I mean, what else would you expect when you have these two going at it? So, nothing else to say.
Overall review.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Overall review. I mean, I'm gonna give this about 8.5 as far as I'm concerned. I mean that you had a lot of good to great matches here. I mean, there was one little bit of a downward when it comes to the show, but other than that, I thought it was another solid NXT. So onward, Fletch, to AEW Dynamite with with fans in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. We started it off with Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall in a strap match. Cody Rhodes wins the match in 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
I thought this was a good match. I thought it could have gone a little longer. I'll give it about somewhere between 3 to 3.5 for this. Even though I'd probably, you know what, I'll give, 3.5 as far as I'm concerned. This was a good match here, a good first match, but I think I'd be leaning more towards 3 because, well, you noticed a little something that happened during the match, Fletch.
The lights going out. Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, I think that to me, I think that definitely took a little bit away from the match, but that's why I've got to give it 3, just because for that occasion.
Okay.
If it wasn't for that, I would have ranked it higher.
All right, no problem with that. Right after that, we had was a 6-man tag: Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz versus FTR and Wardlow. FTR and Wardlow win the match in roughly 10 minutes.
Again, I'll give this about another 3.5. This was definitely a great match here between these good teams here. So, yeah, obviously you knew Wardlow and FTR were going to get one up on the 3 other members of the Inner Circle. So, nothing else to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right. With that said, we did then the second half of the show. Andrade El Idolo versus Matt Sydal. Andrade wins in 6 minutes.
It was a good first match for Andrade in AEW. So I'm gonna give this about 2.5 for the match here.
All right. Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander knocking off the Blade and the Bunny in 8:25.
Yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating for the match. I mean, but boy, I mean, yeah, Chris Statlander with that finisher on the Bunny. Yeah, the Bunny may think she's so tough and rough, but would you mess with someone like Chris Statlander? I mean, yeah, that was a sick move there. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours.
Main event, tag team titles on the line. Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo. And the Young Bucks successfully retain in 14 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to give this about 3.5 to 4. I mean, but man, did you see that sick move there? For the Bucks to win the match. I mean, with the thumbtacks. Oof, that was a little too much there. So, but it was still a good match. The outcome was never in doubt. So there's nothing else to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Overall review.
7.5 to 8 for me. I mean, I thought it would have been a little bit better. I mean, it was still a good show, no doubt about it. But I just thought, with the expectations with AEW Dynamite being back on the road, I thought that maybe they would give us something more. I mean, it was still a good show, but I thought it could have been much better. So NXT wins as far as I'm concerned for the week. So there's nothing else to say. Close the show, Fletch.
All right, we are done for tonight. Tomorrow night is Strictly Sports, hosted by Anthony Florio, as always. And boy, do we have a loaded show for you all. Anthony, run it down. This is going to be nuts.
Yeah, you thought last week's show was crazy? Wait till you see what we have in store for you tomorrow. We will lead off with our recap of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup as we did earlier in the show. MF, another great moment as usual for you. All the goosies came with it, of course. It always does. But anyways, Tampa Bay Lightning, Stanley Cup champions. We'll address that at the start. Then we will get into the Major League Baseball All-Stars. Last week we talked about the starters. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the reserves and the full rosters for the American and National League in the All-Star game that goes down this Tuesday night from Coors Field in Denver. Just added tonight, good old MF Michael Fletcher. I will turn the mic over to him and give him the time to preview the UFC event. I believe it's 264 going down this Saturday night, headlined by that huge main event, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. And in the main event, we will preview the NBA Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns up 1-0 They won game 1 last night. Game 2 will be tomorrow. Will probably be, close. It'll probably be in around the second half of the game or so by the time we get to the game tomorrow night. So we will have our traditional full preview of that tomorrow night. So big show tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. So not much more to say. MF, take it home.
All right, and we are done for tonight. So thank you so much, guys, for everything. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. As always, we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, on Anthony Floyo's channel, The Tone 25, for another edition of Strictly Sports. Until then, for Anthony Floyo and for the aforementioned Michael Bullock, I'm Mike Fletcher. So long, everybody.
Goodbye.